guys, E10 Sun here from Sun Bros, and today I'm really excited to be bringing you guys another beginner's hero breakdown. Today we're going to be covering supports. It's a pretty short list, so it'll be a pretty quick video, but let's go ahead and get started with Alice. Alice is a straight support class. She's a control and buff hero. She has a pretty large difficulty level, and she is really cheap, only 2,800 gold. So let's go ahead and take a look at her skin. She has one skin, the Explorer skin, and that's actually a pretty nice looking skin. It matches an Explorer skin that is on one of the marksmen too, the little fox guy. So, all right. Her passive, Trot. Using abilities increases movement speed for 20% for 1 second. By 20% for 1 second. Pretty simple, easy. Sunshine. Alice unleashes the power of the sun, dealing a bunch of magic damage to enemies and stunning them. Looks like, oh, pretty nice. You got some crowd control abilities, some damage. Alice creates shields that absorb damage for herself and friendly heroes and increases their movement speed to 30%. So, creating a shield for her nearby allies and giving a movement speed buff, which could of course help save people's lives, secure kills, amongst other things. And then ultimate Hissy Fit. Alice summons a cursed circle, reducing movement speed of enemies within the circle by 35% for 2 seconds and decreasing their magic defense by 50%. While active, the circle also deals magic damage every half second and silences enemies within it. Dang, so that's okay. So let's count all the things it does there. Reduces movement speed for 2 seconds. Decreases magic defense by 50%. Also deals damage every half second and silences the enemy. So that is actually a very, very powerful crowd control ability. Silencing all the enemies inside and dealing damage and slowing and reducing magic defense. If you have a couple of mages on your team along with Alice, I can see that being a pretty powerful kind of wombo combo there that you can get with her. So very interesting kit on Alice. Straight support, doesn't do much for damage at all. Next we have Crest, who is a tank support mobility control. We talked about him in the tank section. He is the ridiculous, awesome looking sea monster with a trident when he's in big form and a spear when he's not. His constitution is off the charts, almost maxed out. Difficulty's pretty high. He has one skin, the firefighter skin. He costs 13.8. He's actually currently one of my favorite heroes in the game. So he does passes his title rage. Crest gains rage with normal attacks when Metamorphosis is not active. When morphed, Crest shakes the earth each time he uses an ability, reducing movement speed for all enemies in the area by 50% for 2 seconds and significantly increasing his attack damage. First ability, Typhoon. In regular stance, Crest's lance swings grant rage, knock back surrounding enemies, and deal a bunch of damage. Very, very useful ability to be used to kind of crowd control and herd enemies wherever you want to with the knockback ability. While in Metamorphosis stage, aka his ult, Crest summons a geyser that deals a bunch of damage. And he does that underneath himself in this kind of a radius area. Next, second ability, Aquatic Shield. Crest jumps to the target location and summoning a whirlpool that grants friendly heroes a shield, absorbing a really good amount of damage. That's a really, really powerful shield, guys. That actually makes Crest a phenomenal tank and a great support hero also. Big old shield he gets, and then Crest also gains rage. Under Metamorphosis in his ult, Crest jumps to the target location and summons a whirlpool that deals a bunch of damage to enemies within its range. Both of them are jumps. Both of them deal, one of them doesn't deal damage at all. One of them just creates a shield, one of them deals damage. And then Ultimate Metamorphosis. He can only do his ultimate every 40 seconds, but he also has to have 100 rage. He gets raged by using his abilities, and I think basic attacks also up it a little bit. So Crest consumes all his rage and morphs into his true form, which is the big old sea monster, growing in size, gaining an absorption shield. That's a big old shield, guys. It's a big shield. He's really almost unkillable in his ult form. He then summons a massive tidal wave, pushing enemies aside and stunning the enemies at the end of the wave, also dealing a bunch of damage. The wave does do a pretty significant amount of damage, and the crowd control abilities from that is pretty nice. You can actually get behind a team. One of the things I like to do is I'll jump behind them with the aquatic shield, and then I'll push them towards my team with Metamorphosis. Crush gains movement speed while riding the wave and loses speed once he leaves it. Crush is really good here, guys. I'm really impressed with him. He's a huge tank support in my mind. I'm a big fan of his. Next, we have the awesome elephant with dragon wings, Shagnar. Support tank instead of tank support. He's roll his buffs. He's got big old constitution, and he is only 1,800 gold. So we're gonna go ahead and read about him. He's got one skin, which is a hazmat skin. Kind of makes him look like he's dealing with a environmental, issue, but with hazardous materials. Okay, so first ability is Void Cleanse. Every time Shagnar uses Energy Surge, he calls upon Chaos Energy to remove all crowd controlled effects. It reduces damage taken by 10% and increases his movement speed by 20%. So, as you guys can see here, his passive is all about buffing himself. Removing all crowd control effects, reducing damage, and increasing movement speed. Every time he uses his ability, Energy Surge, which happens to be his first ability. Let's take a look at that. Shagnar unleashes a wave of energy, dealing burn 75 damage to enemies along the path, and slowing their movement speed with 50% for 3 seconds. So damage, slow. Second ability, Shockwave. Shagnar trembles and deals damage to all nearby enemies. Damage increases by 30% with each cast and stacks up to 2 times. Also reducing the cooldown of Energy Surge. So everything reduces the cooldown of Energy Surge, which gives him his buffs. And lastly, his ultimate, Chaos Protection. Shagnar invokes the energies of Chaos to remove all crowd control effects from nearby allies. So keep that in mind. He removes all crowd control effects from nearby allies. That's his teammates, granting them immunity to further crowd control effects and reducing the damage they take. This buff lasts half a second for his allies and 3 seconds for himself. This ability also reduces Shockwave's cooldown and removes Shockwave's mana cost for 6 seconds. That's the second ability. So, he can cast Shockwave as often as he wants for 3 seconds because he has no cooldown and no mana cost on it. Okay, so the ability reduces Shockwave's cooldown. It didn't say he has no cooldown, but it's reduced. But mainly, for 3 seconds, he can't be crowd controlled, and for half a second, he removes all the crowd control effects from his teammates, and they can't be crowd controlled. So, very, very powerful ultimate. He is a straight support and a damage soak. He just soaks up damage and stuff like that first time. Alright, next support on the list is Maganga. I don't know. That's my best shot at that. He's only 1,800 gold. He's a mage support. He's supposed to harass and heal. His attack damage is off the charts. Pretty close, pretty high up there. He's got one skin, and that is the Jester skin or the Fright Circus. Pretty awesome. I am really excited to actually try him out. His passive is Voodoo. Normal attacks and abilities inflict a continuous poison effect damage. And adds 1 Voodoo mark, up to 5 marks to enemy heroes. It's Toxic. He creates a poisonous cloud at the target area that slowly spreads and deals damage. 4 seconds and slows enemies' movement speed by 30%. So AoE damage / slow. Second ability, Fortunate Gift. He hurls a magic item in a specified direction to cause damage to enemies he hits. However, if he hits an ally hero, he will get they'll get a healing mark on them that will recover HP. And lastly, his ultimate, Detonation. He sets off an explosion that deals a bunch of damage to all nearby enemies and heals friendly heroes. Marked friendly heroes gain 50% more healing effect per stack, and marked enemies take 50% more damage per stack. So his abilities really do damage to enemies, healing to friendlies, to allies, and he's going to have the Detonation's ultimate, which is going to increase damage and healing that his enemies and allies take. So pretty interesting toolkit for Maganga. Maganga is what I'm gonna call him. Maganga sounds right. Alright, next we have Pura. Pura? I'm gonna call him Pura. She is a female centaur with a bad looking staff. She's a female, but she has horns, okay. And she has one skin, which makes her look, so this is kinda like a frost centaur, all blue and everything. This one's kinda like a forest centaur, all green stuff. She's straight support and her role is straight buffs. Her ability damage is, however, off the charts, almost maxed out, guys. So let's start with her passive, Riposte. When Pura takes damage, maybe her name is Pura. Pura takes damage, she counterattacks and deals damage to the attackers and slows their movement speed by 90% for 1 second. So anytime she takes damage, she counterattacks. It does damage to the person who attacked her and slows their movement speed by 90% for 90% for a second. That is a lot of slowing. This effect only triggers once every 10 seconds. So that is the kind of the bummer. 10-second cooldown on it is a long time, but still pretty nice. First ability is Healing Light. Pura uses healing magic to restore health, plus 10% of target's lost HP for herself and nearby friendly heroes. That's a lot of healing. If you're halfway gone, you're gonna get some nice HP back. You know, if you're 25%, if you have 25% left, also increases attack speed for 25 seconds. That is a really powerful ability. I'm a big fan of her so far starting off. I feel like both of her passive and her first ability are pretty nice. Second ability, Forest Sentry. Pura summons an owl to attack enemies. The owl flies between the enemy units and deals damage. Each hit up to 6 hits and stuns enemies temporarily. Holy crap. When there are two or more enemy targets, the same enemy can be hit more than once. Wow. So damage, check. Stun, check. Wow. So big time heal. So passive stuns, or not stuns, but 90% slow for a second for whoever attacks you every 10 seconds. First ability, healing, a good amount of healing, and increases attack speed. Second ability, damage, stuns to multiple people. If you're in a team fight, that could stun all the other team. Nature's Rally is her ultimate. With the hero, with her spirit's orb, or with her spirit orbs, Pura creates a zone that increases armor of nearby enemies by 200. 200 is a lot of armor, guys. That's a lot of armor. Enemy units in the zone suffer magic damage every half second and a 20% reduced movement speed while in the zone. Enemies who remain in the zone for more than 2 seconds are stunned for 1.5 seconds, guys. Let that soak into your heart for a second. 1.5 second stun. You combine that with her Forest Sentry, the owl who will stun people. You're talking about 2 second stuns to everyone who remains. And remember, if you do the ultimate and then you throw the second ability out, the Forest Sentry, and they take a stun while in the circle, it's going to be that much harder for them to get out of it. So she's all healing and crowd control effects. I like Pura. She sounds pretty legit. I'm excited to give her a shot. And last but certainly not least, we have big boy, the mountain himself, Lumber, who's like part mountain, part like trees growing out of the mountain, stuff like that. And his only skin is magma, which makes him look like he comes from the depth of the volcano. His constitution is off the charts, difficulties pretty high also. He's a tank support, and his roles control and buffs. He can only be purchased with in-game currency. Let's take a look at his passive Protect. When there are friendly heroes within 500 units of Lumber, both Lumber and the hero with the lowest HP gain 80 armor and 80 magic defense. That is a pretty powerful passive, making him more tanky and the most vulnerable nearby enemy. That's especially good in lane, obviously, but also good in team fights. Help protect your teammates. Alright, first ability, Shattered Earth. Lumber smashes the ground and shatters stones, dealing damage to enemies in a frontal cone, not a circle. Heroes hit by the stones are weakened, reducing their attack damage and ability power by 15%. So 15% less damage for any enemy hit by this first ability for 3 seconds. It only has a 6-second cooldown, guys, so it's a little cooldown reduction. You could be reducing the enemy's damage by 15% over and over again. Second ability, Rampage. Lumber charges in the target direction, dealing damage to enemies in his way and knocking them into the air. Crowd control, damage. Affected enemies are slowed by 50% for 1 second after they land. So, wow. So, knockups, 1 second knockup, 50% slow for another second. So, big time crowd control. Friendly heroes on the path will receive a shield that is a big shield and gain 15% movement speed. So, if you guys haven't figured out why he is in the support section as well as the tank section, let me remind you. He gives 80 HP or 80 armor and magic defense to the most vulnerable, the lowest HP hero, ally nearby, big time. First ability reduces, so it's a debuff, the damage of the nearby enemy by 15% for 3 seconds. Second ability gives shields to all his teammates and gains movement speed that are in this little area. So that's pretty legit. And lastly, his ultimate, Earth Splitter. After a short charging period, Lumber tears the ground apart with great strength and knocks enemies on the path into the air. The earth stays torn for 5 seconds and enemies will suffer 60% movement speed as well as taking damage. So more, he's just got a lot of crowd controls, a lot of buffs for his teammates, a lot of debuffs for his enemies. That sounds like a pretty solid tank, and I'm really excited to be trying him out. And that is all of our support heroes, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. The beginner's breakdown to the supports. This is for all the new people who are going to be playing Strike of Kings, anyone switching over from any other MOBAs like Mobile Legends. But I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and check out all our other Strike of Kings content. We're going to continue to make a bunch more for you guys. And share the video with your friends. Comment below, let me know what you guys think about the supports, which ones you guys have played, and what abilities you enjoy from them, and who you think is really powerful. But thanks for watching, guys, and as always, until next time.